Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Victory Fellowship Church. It's Saturday morning Bible study. Bible study. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to study the Bible. Today, we are in the book of 2 Kings, and we are up to chapter 15. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, we are going through the entire Old Testament. We've been through the New Testament, and in completing going through the whole Bible, we're going through the Old Testament. We started at Genesis, and we are now at 2 Kings, and we are at chapter 15. In case you've tuned in and don't really know what's going on at this time in history, what this book does is it records several years, I would think maybe several hundred years, because it records the actions of the kings of Jerusalem, Israel, that is, and Judah. And I say kings more than one because there was a divide after David's son Solomon died. And the division occurred that one king was over Israel, and Judah, who separated, was on their own, and they had their own king. And so we're going to read about kings of both nations. And from time to time, there was conflict when one would attack the other. At least there's one incident of that in chapter 14 that we studied last week. So what is the overall lesson that we're learning in the 2 Kings? We're learning this: that the kings either served the Lord and obeyed him and were blessed, or they served the Baals. They served false gods, and they were under a curse. And so were all the people that were under them. That should tell you something. Be careful who you are under, so to speak. If you're going to a church and how do I want to say this? The church is way wacky, way off. Be careful, because you will experience the same curse that the leaders of that church experience, unless by the grace of God he spares you that because you were innocent. But the point being that we have been following kings, and kings do either the right thing, lead their people rightly, or lead their people wrongly. And the whole concept of what's going on here, the whole conflict between God worship and Baal worship, comes back to one commandment that was not obeyed. And that commandment was that when he takes you into your promised land, kill everybody there, because they already worship false gods. Don't keep them alive. Don't intermarry with them. There is such a thing as a Facebook God. And I say it that way because what a Facebook Jesus or God is one that just lets anything goes. He loves all people. There's no judgment. You're gay, that's fine. That's not a sin anymore, because love conquers all sin. You're a murderer, and you've asked him, I'll tell you, God is not only the God of love, but he's the God of justice. He's coming again, and he's going to line people up in front of him, and every knee is going to bow, the Bible says, and every tongue will confess that Jesus is the Lord, which right now we have people saying, well, he's not Lord for me. Well, he is, they just don't know it yet. Anyway, the point being, our God reigns. And we are reading in chapter 15 of the book of 2 Kings about the kings and how they served. And let's go ahead and start. In the 27th year of Jeroboam, king of Israel, Azariah, the son of Amaziah, king of Judah, became king. So we're talking about two different kingdoms, Judah and Israel, and the two different kings. He was 16 years old when he became king, and he reigned 52 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jecoliah of Jerusalem, and he did what was right in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his father Amaziah had done. Hallelujah. Except that the high places were not removed. The people still sacrificed and burned incense on the high places. Then the Lord struck the king so that he was a leper until the day of his death. So he dwelt in an isolated house. And Jotham, the king's son, was over the royal house, judging the people of the land. Now the rest of the acts of Azariah and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? So Azariah rested with his fathers, and they buried him with his fathers in the city of David. Then Jotham, his son, reigned in his place. In the 38th year of Azariah, king of Judah, Zechariah, the son of Jeroboam, reigned over Israel in Samaria 6 months. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord, as his fathers had done. He did not depart from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel sin. Then Shalem, the son of Jabesh, conspired against him and struck and killed him in front of the people, and he reigned in his place. Now the rest of the acts of Zechariah, indeed, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. This was the word of the Lord which he spoke to Jehu, saying, Your sons shall sit on the throne of Israel to the 4th generation. And so it was. Shallum, the son of Jabesh, became king in the 39th year of Uzziah, king of Judah, and he reigned a full month in Samaria. For Menahem, the son of Gadai, went up from Tirzah, came to Samaria, and struck Shallum, the son of Jabesh, in Samaria, and killed him, and he reigned in his place. Now the rest of the acts of Shallum and the conspiracy which he led, indeed, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. Then from Tirzah, Menahem attacked Tiphsah, all who were there and its territory, because they did not surrender. Therefore he attacked it. All the women who were there with child he ripped open. In the 39th year of Azariah, king of Judah, Menahem, the son of Gadi, became king over Israel, and reigned 10 years in Samaria. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord. He did not depart all his days from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel sin. Pul, king of Assyria, came against the land. And Menahem gave Pul 1,000 talents of silver, that his hand might be with him to strengthen the kingdom under his control. And Menahem, exacted the money from Israel, from all the very wealthy, from each man 50 shekels of silver, to give to the king of Assyria. So the king of Assyria turned back and did not stay there in the land. Now the rest of the acts of Menahem and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? So Menahem rested with his fathers, and Pekahiah, his son, reigned in his place. In the 50th year of Azariah, king of Judah, Pekahiah, the son of Menahem, became king over Israel. See, we see this comparison between the king of Judah and the king of Israel. And he reigned 2 years. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord. He did not depart from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who had made Israel sin. Then Pekah, the son of Remaliah, an officer of his, conspired against him and killed him in Samaria, in the citadel of the king's house, along with Argob and Ariah, and with him were 50 men of Gilead. He killed him and reigned in his place. Now the rest of the acts of Pekaliah and all that he did. Indeed, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings. We see something occurring here in these years that we hadn't seen before, and that is, once these kings were reigning, especially the evil ones, people would come up against them and plot against them and kill them behind their back and take over, and they allowed it. All right, let's see here. In the 52nd year of Azariah, king of Judah, Pekah, the son of Remaliah, became king over Israel in Samaria, and he reigned 20 years. And he did evil in sight of the Lord. He did not depart from the sins of Jeroboam, who made Israel sin. In the days of Pekah, king of Israel, Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, came and took Ijon, Abel, Beth, Maachah, Janoah, Kadesh, Hazer, Gilead, and Galilee, all the land of the Naphtali, and he carried them captive to Assyria. Then Hoshea, the son of Elah, had a conspiracy against Pekah, the son of Remaliah, struck and killed him, so that he reigned in his place in the 20th year of Jotham, the son of Uzziah. Now the rest of the acts of Pekah and all that he did, they're written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. In the 2nd year of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, began to reign. He was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned 16 years. His mother's name was Jerusha, the daughter of Zadok, and he did what was right in the sight of the Lord. He did according to all that his father Uzziah had done. However, high places were not removed. The people still sacrificed and burned incense on the high places. He built the upper gates of the house of the Lord. Now the rest of the acts of Jotham and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah? In those days the Lord began to send Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, against Judah. So Jotham rested with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David his father. Then Ahaz, his son, reigned in his place. All right, chapter 16. In the 17th year of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, Ahaz, the son of Jotham, king of Judah, began to reign. Ahaz was 20 years old when he became king, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem, and he did not do what was right in the sight of the Lord his God, as his father David had done. But he walked in the way of the kings of Israel. Indeed, he made his son pass through the fire. What is that? That was a ritual, a spiritual, how do you want to put it? A way of serving Baal, which was basically demonic. And you would make people walk through fire on coals, sometimes on burning stones, other times, and sometimes you just sacrificed your children fully to Baal in a basin if they were small enough. But this one's son was made to pass through the fire according to the, and here's what God thinks about it, abominations of the nations whom the Lord had cast out before the children of Israel. That's one of the reasons that Israel was given their land, was because they were worshiping demons. And he cast them out of the land and told them not to marry with them, not to get along with them, to kill them. But they didn't all do it. And he sacrificed and burned incense on the high places, on the hills, and under every green tree. Then Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, came up to Jerusalem to make war. And they besieged Ahaz, but could not overcome him. At that time, Rezin, king of Syria, captured Elath for Syria, and drove the men of Judah from Elath. Then the Edomites went to Elath, and dwelt there to this day. So Ahaz sent messengers to Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, saying, I'm your servant and your son. Come up and save me from the hand of the king of Syria and from the hand of the king of Israel, who rise up against me." And Ahaz took the silver and gold that was found in the house of the Lord and in the treasuries of the king's house, and sent it as a present to the king of Assyria. So the king of Assyria heeded him, for the king of Assyria went up against Damascus and took it, carried it to its people captive, to Kir and to Rezin. Now King Ahaz went to Damascus to meet Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and saw an altar that was at Damascus. And King Ahaz sent to Uriah the priest the design of the altar and its pattern according to all its workmanship. Then Uriah the priest built an altar according to all that King Ahaz had sent from Damascus. So Uriah the priest made it before the king Ahaz came back from Damascus. And when the king came back from Damascus, the king saw the altar. And the king approached the altar and made offerings on it. So he burnt his burnt offering and his grain offering, and he poured his drink offering, sprinkled the blood of his peace offerings on the altar. He also brought the bronze altar, which was before the Lord, from the front of the temple, from between the new altar and the house of the Lord, and put it on the north side of the new altar. Then King Ahaz commanded Uriah the priest, saying, "Oh, the great new altar, burn the morning offering, the evening grain offering, the king's burnt sacrifice and his grain offering, with the burnt offering of all the people of the land, their grain offering and their drink offering, and sprinkle on it all the blood of the burnt offering and all the blood of the sacrifice. And the bronze altar shall be for me to inquire by." Thus did Uriah the priest, according to all that King Ahaz commanded. And King Ahaz cut off the panels of the carts and removed the lavers from them. And he took down the sea from the bronze oxen that were under it, and on account of the king of Assyria. Now the rest of the acts of Ahaz, what he did, aren't they written in the book of Chronicles? So Ahaz rested with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David. Then Hezekiah his son reigned in his place. Chapter 17. In the 20th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, Hoshea the son of Elah became king of Israel in Samaria, and he reigned 9 years. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord, but not as the kings of Israel who were before him. Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, came up against him, and Hoshea became his vassal and paid him tribute money. And the king of Assyria uncovered a conspiracy by Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So, king of Egypt, and brought no tribute to the king of Assyria, as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. Now the king of Assyria went throughout all the land, and went up to Samaria and besieged it for 3 years. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away to Assyria, and placed them in Hala and by the Habor, the river of Gazan, and in the cities of the Medes. For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord their God, who had brought them up out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and they had feared other gods, and had walked in the statutes of the nations whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel. See, this is exactly what we have been hearing, and that is they were cast out by God because of their behavior in worshiping other gods. And yet these Israelites sinned because they did not destroy them. Also, the children of Israel secretly did against the Lord their God things that were not right. And they built for themselves high places in all their cities. From watchtower to fortified city, they set up for themselves sacred pillars and wooden images on every high hill, under every green tree. See, they weren't just saying, well, we'll let these people worship. They were saying, I want to worship these false gods too. That was the sin they were committing. There they burned incense on all the high places, and like the nations whom the Lord had carried away before them. They did wicked things to provoke the Lord to anger, for they served idols of which the Lord had said to them, you shall not do this thing. Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all of his prophets, every seer, saying, turn from your evil ways and keep my commandments, my statutes, according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. Nevertheless, they would not hear, but stiffened their necks, like the necks of their fathers who did not believe in the Lord their God. And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he had testified against them. They followed idols, became idolaters, and went after the nations who were all around them, concerning whom the Lord had charged them that they should not do like them. So they left all the commandments of the Lord their God, made for themselves a molded image and 2 calves, made a wooden image, and worshipped all the host of heaven, and served Baal. There it is. And they caused their sons and daughters to pass through the fire, practiced witchcraft and soothsaying, and they sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger. Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel, and removed them from his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah alone. Also Judah did not keep the commandments of the Lord their God, but walked in the statutes of Israel which they made. And the Lord rejected all the descendants of Israel, afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of plunderers, until he had cast them from his sight. For he tore Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the king of Nebat king. Then Jeroboam drove Israel from following the Lord, and made them commit a great sin. For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam which he did, and they did not depart from them, until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight. As he had said by all his servants the prophets, so Israel was carried away from their own land to Assyria. Then the king of Assyria brought people from Babylon, Cutha, Av, Hamath, Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. And they took possession of Samaria and dwelt in its cities. And it was so at the beginning of their dwelling there that they did not fear the Lord. Therefore the Lord sent lions among them, which killed some of them. So they spoke to the king of Assyria, saying, the nations whom you have removed and placed in the cities of Samaria do not know the rituals of the God of the land. Therefore he sent lions among them. And indeed, they're killing them because they do not know the rituals of the God of the land. And the king of Assyria commanded, saying, send there one of the priests who you brought from there. Let him go and dwell there, and let him teach them the rituals of the God of the land. Then one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt in Bethel, and he taught them how they should fear the Lord, how every nation continued to make gods of its own, and put them in shrines on the high places, which the Samaritans had made, every nation in the cities where they dwelt. The men of Babylon made Succoth-Benoth. The men of Cuth made Nergal. The men of Hamath made Ashima. and the Avites made Nibhaz and Tartak, and the Sephirites burned their children in fire. Ay, ay, ay. To Adramelech and Aramelech they burned their kids, the gods of Sepharim. So they feared the Lord, and from every class they appointed for themselves priests of the high places, who sacrificed for them in the shrine of the high places. They feared the Lord, yet served their own gods according to the rituals of the nations from among whom they were carried. To this day they continue practicing the former rituals. They do not fear the Lord, nor do they follow their statutes or their ordinances, or the law or commandment which the Lord had commanded the children of Jacob, whom he named Israel, with whom the Lord had made a covenant, and charged them, saying, You shall not fear other gods, nor bow down to them, nor serve them, nor sacrifice to them. But the Lord who brought you up from the land of Egypt with great power and an outstretched arm, him you shall fear. You shall worship, and to him you shall offer sacrifices. And the statutes, the ordinances, the law, and the commandment which he wrote for you, you shall be careful to observe forever. You shall not fear other gods, and the covenant that I have made with you, you shall not forget, nor shall you fear other gods. But the Lord your God you shall fear, and he will deliver you from the hand of all your enemies. However, they did not obey, but they followed their former rituals. So these nations feared the Lord, yet served their carved images. Also their children and their children's children have continued doing as their fathers did, even to this day. All right, well, that brings us to chapter 18. That's a good place for us to pause. And it's a shame, but some of this is still very relevant to today. If we serve the Lord, he protects us. If we don't serve him, we serve other gods. And I know some of you are saying, well, I don't have any golden images. I don't have any calves in my backyard. I didn't set up a high place where I go and bend my knee. No, but what can you worship other than God? Can you worship material things? I suggest, yes, you could. Put God first in your life and receive his blessing. Amen. You need to know more about that? Come to church. Now is the time. This is the day to come to church so that you can be close to the Lord and receive his complete blessing. We're here at Victory Fellowship Church. Our services start at 11. Hope to see you tomorrow, Sunday. God bless you, and we will see you next time.